Hi everyone, welcome back. Thanks for joining us today. We've got a brand new story to share with you, so let's begin. My name's Noah, and for the last 10 years, life looked like a steady marriage from the outside. I drive big rigs coast to coast, hauling everything from food to furniture. It isn't easy, but it paid our bills, and for a long stretch, it felt like the sacrifice had meaning. My wife, Kara, and I built a life on what I believed was partnership and agreement, a rhythm that worked for us, or so it seemed. From day one, we agreed kids weren't in the plan. Neither of us wanted that, and we were both fine with it. We kept our own pace. I ran long hours, and she kept the place together. That was how we divided our load. Trucking is rough, always moving, sleeping odd hours, dealing with schedule shifts that punch holes in any plan. There were weekends I swore I'd be home, and then a last-minute load would push me back a day or two. Still, no matter how wrecked I felt, I tried to get home whenever possible. Because to me, being married wasn't just bills and budgets, it was showing up. Even tired, even wrung out. That was the picture I held. For a long time, I thought Kara and I shared that picture. I was wrong. The first real shift crept in about 7 years into our marriage. Before that, we weren't fireworks every night, but we had a rhythm. After long hauls, I could count on a hug at the door, a kiss, some spark of joy that I was back. Then it changed. The first thing to vanish was her initiating anything intimate. She used to flirt, crack a line, tug me close on the couch. That faded. I told myself she was tired or stressed. Life is heavy sometimes, but it wasn't a bad week. It calcified into a new normal. If I didn't take the first step, nothing happened. And when I did, it felt like she was just checking a box, not meeting me halfway. The messages on the road followed the same drift. We used to trade little notes throughout the day. Small things. How's the weather? Where are you now? Then her replies got shorter, farther apart. I'd text. Hours would pass, and maybe I'd get an okay or a yeah. No follow-up. No curiosity. It was like someone turned a dimmer on us and kept twisting. I chalked it up to comfort people get used to each other. But the pattern was too clean. I was always the one reaching out. If I didn't start talking, we didn't talk. If I didn't suggest time together, we floated by each other like distant roommates. I kept waiting for a rebound. Months became years. The gap widened. It got to where I felt more alone at home than out on the interstate. One night after a stretch on the road, I was done to the studs. Trucking is a lifestyle, not a clock. I'd said yes to a last-minute run that pushed me 2 extra days. By the time I got back, I wanted 3 things: a shower, a meal, and a bed. I didn't text Kara that I was coming in late. She knew my schedule was grass in the wind. The house was quiet except for a faint voice from the back porch. Kara was on the phone. Could have been her sister. Could have been a friend. I set my boots aside, grabbed a glass, ran cold water over my throat, and drifted toward the bedroom. The porch was only a few feet away. That's when the words hardened enough for my head to register them. I can't stand him anymore. I don't even know why I'm still here. I stopped. The other voice whispered something I couldn't catch. Kara sighed. Then came the part that sank me. He's just too convenient. Leaving him would be too much work. I haven't loved him in years. I don't have a clean way to describe that feeling. I'd spent over a decade believing I had a partner, even if the shine was gone. I'd traded sleep and comfort for a life I thought we shared. And there I stood, reduced to a chore, a convenience, someone she couldn't even stand. I walked to the bed and sat on the edge, staring at the floor. My hands were on my knees, but I wasn't in my body. Had she been faking for years? When did we tip? Was I blind? Or was she just that good at playing the part? The longer I sat with it, the more I realized I didn't know who I'd been married to. I don't know how long I stayed there. Time dropped out. The door eased open. Kara came in. Her eyes widened when she saw me, then smoothed over into something casual. "Oh, I didn't hear you come in," she said. She knew. Maybe not how much I'd heard, but she could tell I'd heard enough. I didn't trust my voice. I nodded, because anything I said would be either shattered or a shout. She hovered, like she wanted to add more. I pushed to my feet and mumbled something about taking a shower. In the bathroom, I turned the lock and let hot water pound my skin. It didn't loosen the knot in my chest. 10 minutes? An hour? I don't know. When I got out, I didn't go back to the bedroom. I didn't want small talk or worse, her silence. I sat in the living room, the TV on without sound in me to hear it. Usually, I bring stories home. Some odd thing from a truck stop or a stretch of road. That night, I had nothing. She didn't ask. By the time I came to bed, she was already asleep. I lay there and watched the dark. If this is how she truly felt, what was I still doing here? At first light, the answer was simple. I was leaving. No arguments. No speeches. I moved through the house quietly, a ghost packing thin. I took what mattered, just a few personal things. The rest didn't matter. I wasn't interested in objects that tethered me to a place that had let me disappear while I was still breathing. I didn't leave a note. I stepped into the cool morning air with no map, and that was fine. Whatever was ahead had to be better than being kept, because quitting me was inconvenient. If Kara wanted easy, now she had it. She wouldn't suspect anything at first. My job wrote me in pencil. A day gone could turn into a week if a load shifted. Normally, if I rolled out while she slept, I'd text by morning or call later. This time, there was no point. Before leaving town, I hit the bank and pulled what I could without tripping flags. In the truck, I popped my phone, slid out the SIM, and snapped it. That little plastic shard was the only direct tether she had to me. Gone. No calls, no texts, no explanations. She'd try to find me eventually, but it wouldn't be simple. Truckers don't sit in one place, and even the folks I worked with were smoke hard to grab hold of. Maybe I went north. Maybe I switched companies. Maybe I never stopped driving. Every road would feel like a dead end. With my phone dead and ties cut, I drove until the highway unrolled like a ribbon into the horizon. No destination, just space. I landed in a small town in Texas where people mind their business and ask fewer questions than they answer. Perfect. No one knew me. No one needed me to be anything. I could start over. Across the next months, I waited for regret to catch me, or guilt. But days melted into weeks, weeks into months, and I realized I didn't miss Kara. The quiet wasn't loneliness, it was peace. I picked up odd jobs because I wanted to, not because I had to. Some days I worked at a local auto shop, wrenching on trucks like the ones I used to run across the country. Other days, I did yard work for older folks who insisted on paying in casseroles instead of cash. It wasn't the money. I had enough saved to glide. It was about doing something that belonged to me again. Work without the weight of being someone else's obligation. For once, I wasn't grinding to keep another person comfortable. I was living on my terms. Back home, my social life had shrunk to quick truck stop chats, or whatever small talk Kara tolerated. Here, I made actual friends guys who didn't care about my backstory unless I decided to open it. After work, we'd sit with cheap beer, comparing notes on life, work, and the best burger in town. Simple. Everything I hadn't even realized I was starving for. The best part? No obligations. No one marking a calendar until I came back. No one waiting for a check-in call. If I wanted a road trip, I took one. If I wanted to sleep in, I did. Every choice was mine because I wanted it. That kind of freedom was new to me. I didn't expect to hear from Kara again after a year of silence. I'd built a life where I didn't wake up feeling like a burden in my own house. Maybe she tracked down old contacts. Maybe she hired help. I don't know. One afternoon, a number I didn't know lit my phone. I answered without thinking. The voice tied my stomach in a knot. "Noah, it's me." I let air move in and out, said nothing. She kept talking, her voice unsteady like she'd rehearsed 100 times. She said she didn't mean what she'd said that night. She was venting. She was frustrated. She still loved me. But I'd spent a year replaying those words, and I knew better. She hadn't been venting. She'd been honest, and didn't expect me to hear it. At first, I ignored her and blocked the number. She found others. Long texts poured in, apologies, promises, regret. The house felt empty without me. She couldn't sleep. She'd made a terrible mistake. She leaned on guilt, said I'd hurt her by leaving, said I should have given her the chance to explain, said we could fix this. There was nothing to fix. Her sorrow wasn't about what she'd done. It was about the fallout. She'd assumed I'd always be there, no matter how little she gave. When I finally left, she wasn't running on love. She was grappling with the loss of a safety net. Eventually, I gave her what she said she wanted, an answer, but not the one she wanted. I'll come back, I said, but not for you. I'm coming back to end the marriage officially. Silence. For the first time in all those calls and paragraphs, she had no reply. I didn't need one. I never thought I'd be the man who vanished. That wasn't the plan the morning I left. I wasn't trying to erase myself. I wanted her to understand what it felt like to lose someone, to wake one day and realize I wasn't furniture she could ignore until it was gone. But the longer I stayed away, the clearer it got. I didn't miss her, not even a little. And if I didn't miss her, what reason was left to go back? The signs were there the whole time. The quiet phone when I was out. The absence of touch unless I started it. For years, I told myself it was a rough patch. Something all couples white-knuckle through. The truth? I was convenient. I paid bills. I gave stability. Love had slipped away years earlier, and I was too blind or too hopeful to see it. Here's what this all taught me. Convenience isn't love. Being tolerated isn't the same thing as being cherished. If someone stays because leaving is too much work, they're not a partner. They're just a person sharing space. If you reach the point where you're begging for effort, you're already losing. Another thing, if someone doesn't value you, walk away. Don't argue. Don't explain. Leave. If they cared, you wouldn't be fighting for scraps of attention. And when you finally go, you'll realize how much peace you've been missing. The biggest lesson, stop dismissing warning signs. If you feel unwanted, you probably are. If you keep asking yourself whether someone still loves you, you already know. I saw the flags for years, and I bulldozed right through them because I wanted to stay loyal to the version of her I met. That version had long since left. Eventually, truth demanded its due. No matter how it hurt, I had to look straight at it. Now it's over to you. What would you have done in my place? Would you have stayed and confronted her? Given another chance? Or would you have walked like I did? Tell me in the comments. And if this story resonated, like, share, and subscribe. Someone out there might need to hear this.